Dead by Daylight is losing something important, as today it was announced that the Halloween chapter will be leaving the store in mid-January. This is the second major license the game has lost this year, the first being Hellraiser. And for a lot of people, this doesn't just feel like the content is being removed. It feels like a piece of the game is quietly disappearing. So it feels like it's the right time to maybe ask, why do we still play Dead by Daylight? I've been playing Dead by Daylight since September of 2018, and I've seen it grow, stumble, reinvent itself, and slowly lose parts of what made it feel permanent. Development this year hasn't exactly inspired confidence either. Content was delayed to rebalance the gameplay loop, of which nothing changed, and content remained pushed further away from the players, giving us less to do. Rift Passes have also seen a major downgrade over the last 6 months, and on top of all this, losing two major licenses this year, Hellraiser and Halloween, hurt the players in a way balance changes never could. Because Halloween wasn't just another chapter, it was the foundation of Dead by Daylight, the proof that Dead by Daylight could stand alongside horror's biggest names, and for a lot of us, it's what made the game feel legitimate. Halloween is one of my all-time favorite horror series, and in fact, it's Michael Myers that brought me into DBD, alongside the old case file videos by Bricky Orchid. Knowing the chapter is leaving feels symbolic. It's like watching the door close on an era of Dead by Daylight that can't really be created, and yet, even now, I still find myself queuing up. Not because I find the game flawless, or because I enjoy the repetitive gameplay loop, but because of what it once gave me when I didn't really have much else. And when I say I didn't really have much else, what I mean is finding my place in this world, I guess. To elaborate on that a little bit, I don't mean like figuring out who I was or what I'm meant to be, I mean finding other connections in the world. I reached a point where every relationship I thought I could rely on had fallen apart. 2 back-to-back relationships ended because I was cheated on, and when I looked around afterward, I realized the friends I had left weren't really good friends at all. That's a hard thing to come to terms with, and realizing you don't just need to heal, you need to rebuild everything from the ground up. At the time, my life felt small. I was living in a flooded basement that honestly wasn't suitable to live in. Mold in the walls, constant dampness, internet so bad I played Dead by Daylight on 600 ping. It wasn't just uncomfortable, it was isolating. And when your world gets that small, you start to feel like you don't really exist anymore. Dead by Daylight became the one place where I could show up consistently. Same menu, same fog, same campfire. It didn't care where I lived or what my life looked like. I could just be there. Some nights I played well, some nights I didn't, but I showed up. And when you show up somewhere long enough, you start to recognize names, voices, people who laugh at the same dumb mistakes you do. And that's how it started. Not with some big moment, but with repetition and familiarity. Dead by Daylight didn't fix my life, but it gave me a place to exist while I figured things out. And looking back, I don't remember the wins or losses from that time. I remember the feeling of loading into a match and not being completely alone. And sometimes, that's enough to keep going. Something that a lot of you probably don't know, set aside my friends listening to this, is Dead by Daylight is the game where I met my wife, and it built the foundation for where most of my friendships are today. During COVID, I decided to take up streaming to see if I could build any sort of viewership, and during my first ever Twitch stream, I was rated by a much larger streamer. Through that community, I became mutuals with my wife, and we eventually started playing together. We were friends for about 4 months, and I think we both knew something was there, but neither of us were in a place to push it, as we were both rebuilding. It was slow, it was comfortable, and it was built on time, trust, and shared matches, and this doesn't happen by accident. It happened because of the game. In a world where I regularly woke up at 12 o'clock in the afternoon, there was one day I decided to wake up and stream early at 8 a.m., and it's crazy to think about how different my life would be right now if I never decided to do that. The thing about Dead by Daylight is it's built on repetition. It's the same objectives, it's the same loops, it's the same mind games, and when you play long enough, it's easy to stop seeing people and only see roles. Survivor, killer, win, loss. But every once in a while, the game breaks its own pattern. A survivor misses a skill check so badly, it's almost impressive. The killer stops, turns, and slowly shakes their head. No words, just mutual understanding. Yeah, that was really bad. Or even a chase that ends in the dumbest possible way. A vault you didn't mean to take, jumping into a locker next to a window, a dead heart into a wall, a pallet dropped that did nothing, and both sides pause, and for half a second, nobody's trying to win. They're just acknowledging the mistake, and perhaps the humor in it. And sometimes it's kindness instead. A killer who knows the match is over and lets the last survivor go. A survivor who won't leave the gate until they know everyone else has made it out. No blood points, no challenges completed, just a small human decision. These moments don't show up in patch notes, they don't affect the balance, but they do matter. More than anything else in this game, I would argue. Because in a game with a reputation for toxicity, they remind you there are real people on the other side of the screen. Tired people, lonely people, and people just looking for a place in this world to belong. Building my relationships didn't just stop at meeting my wife on Dead by Daylight either. It is because of my wife and because of Dead by Daylight that I was able to make so many more connections and great friends, and people who show up regularly in my videos. Because of Dead by Daylight, I've been able to play different games and meet even more new people, and I built some of the most long-lasting relationships that I could ever ask for. This game has really given me a starting point and made me feel complete in a lot of ways that I never thought I could. So I asked the question again, why do we still play Dead by Daylight? It's not because the balance is perfect, it's not because every decision makes sense, and it's definitely not because the game is what it used to be. We still play because of the people we were when we started, and the people we became along the way. Because sometimes a game isn't just a game. Sometimes it's a lifeline. And even if Dead by Daylight keeps losing pieces of itself, the memories don't disappear with the licenses. They stay with us. And as long as there are people on the other side of the fog, I think a lot of us will keep coming back. Not for the game it is now, but for what it once gave us, and what it still gives us in its own quiet way.